pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, good evening and welcome, everybody. Hope everybody having a good New Year so far. First thing on the agenda is election of officers for 2019. You want to make a motion in here?
You want to keep everybody the way they are?
I think so. I'll make a motion and Brent Deal will be president for 2019.
Vice President?
Yeah. Motion to approve the minutes of the December 27th meeting, year-end meeting.
I'll make a motion we approve the minutes for the year.
Second. Motion to approve the January docket and allowance docket.
I'll make a motion we approve the docket.
And we have the statement acknowledging we received the docket.
Do you have any questions on the claims?
Okay. Mr. Reed, you have a presentation?
A little bit short one, yeah.
Okay.
The insurance renewal was not much different than what the expiring was. But I had asked them for some options for you. And I'll go through those with you quickly and kind of explain what they are. So the first one I had asked for was under wrongful acts coverage, which covers you as officers. And it would be non-monetary damages to add that coverage. The cost to do that is $64. And what that amounts to is if you guys as board members would pass an ordinance or something, and somebody in town dislikes that ordinance and they end up and they come after you and file suit or whatever, and they're not really seeking any money, they just want the ordinance removed or put back the way it was or something. It basically boils down to defense cost is pretty much what it is.
Okay.
So that's the first one. The other one would be under employment practices liability, and that's also non-monetary damages. The cost to do that is $245. That could get into a situation where an employee feels like they should have been promoted to a new position and they weren't, and they just want and that person wants their old job back or something. They're not really seeking, they're not after money, they're just wanting a position back or something of that nature. Also under employment practices is wage and hour cost. That's a $71 charge, and again, that is basically defense cost also. Most of those kinds of claims fall under EEOC coverage, which is covered. And at some point, it's hard to come up with anything that falls out of that, because most of them end up falling back under the EEOC guidelines. And then the other one would be under employment practices is also non-monetary related harassment cost. That one is $109. And that would be, generally it's a third party, like a vendor or something. UPS driver that's harassing one of your employees, or a delivery driver that keeps harassing one of your employees, and you guys fail to take any action to do anything about it, and they get upset about it and come after you. So, there's also one for fellow employee coverage, which falls under the auto line of coverage. And that can be a situation, you got two employees in a vehicle, and he's operating it in a negligent manner, and the other employee says, hey, let me out of here, you're nuts or something, and he fails to do so, and wrecks, and that guy gets injured, and then that other employee comes after the one that was driving. Cost to do that one's $84. I had asked for one for pesticide and herbicide application, and that is $100,000 property damage liability. That one's $246. It is property damage only liability, which would be a situation where you guys sprayed something and killed off the park neighbor's garden or yard, or all their flowers or trees or something of that nature. And then I have a couple other items. You currently have coverage for unnamed property. And a lot of times a town or a city can end up owning something, they don't really realize they end up owning it. Somewhere along the line, somebody donated a statue someplace, or a cemetery, or they donated something, and it kind of gets lost in a shuffle, and nobody really realizes the town actually owns it. You currently have $100,000 of coverage for that. If you lower it down to $5,000 or $50,000, it does save you $900. You know of any unnamed property you own that you don't know about?
That's a good question.
A lot of times it's a statue or a cemetery or something of that nature.
If they knew about it, wouldn't be that they didn't know about it.
Yeah.
You know, it's always been a question. All right.
And then the last item I have, well, I have two more items. The other item I have, currently you have $2 million on your umbrella coverage. The cost to increase that to $4 million is $1,499 additional money, which between your auto and your general liability, that would give you a total of $5 million, which equals the statutory limit for the state of Indiana as the worst case scenario if you happen to get sued for something.
All right.
And the last thing I have is cyber liability. That one is tasty also. To pick up $1 million worth of cyber liability is $1,123 for the year.
What's that? What would that cover? I mean, so
Basically, it boils down to if you would expose people's private information some way via your computer system. Somebody hacks into the town system some way, and they pull all the names and addresses and telephone numbers or whatever from your water bill people. So it could be credit card numbers, that type of thing, social security numbers of employees.
okay. All right.
We had also talked about a sewer backup policy. Do we have anything on that?
I gotta go back and look at that one.
Then
Is it all in here, all these options?
Yeah, the options are all in there. You're talking about like if your people working on sewage lines would happen to blow sewage back into a home or something of that nature. Okay.
That, or if you had one that just plugged up and backed up, you know, you have one plugged up.
It was on our side and it went back into their house.
Yeah. We've had that happen once, so I know.
I'll probably have to get back up to you on that one, Pat.
Okay. And did I understand you correctly that the ball parade will now have to have some kind of proof of insurance because of being on the town streets?
Oh, say that.
The ball committee has parade in the summer. Did I understand you that they really should have insurance? being on the
It would
town
be
streets?
best if they provided you a certificate of liability coverage that they have it. Sewer backup liability is included currently.
Okay, and that is part of our policy right
Yeah.
now, just there's no extra cost.
Yeah. I do want to caution you on that, it would have to be something that the town did that was negligent to cause it in some manner.
Like if it just backed up for natural reasons, it ain't covered.
If it got a bunch of tree roots in it or something that's unexpected and unforeseen, that's probably not a covered situation. But if you guys did something that, working on it or something and caused it to back up, then that's a different story.
It happens sometimes when you jet. When
Yeah,
blow
it
back
does.
up or up to the ceiling or something.
It does. I've had those claims before.
So what was the one incident we had, Jerry? What happened?
Actually, it roots was what it was.
So that would not have been covered roots.
And it was, we hired a company to come in and clean the basement out, that's what we done.
I would guess that one, if it was tree roots and stuff, probably not.
Okay.
It
But
would
we-
have to be something that you guys were negligent in doing.
Anymore, I wanna, if I find a place that has roots in our lines, I contract with Dutch Root Control, and we do a 3-year cycle on it, and then it's good for the following, for like 3 years then after that. I believe that's how it is, and they come in and do so much a foot. I've got a few places I do, and anytime I find another place, I add it to it. It's what I've been doing in the past. They'll spend like 2 months at a time in the spring, every spring, in like Louisville, Kentucky. That company spends like 2 months in Louisville, Kentucky every year.
Now we have to take this under fire.
I'll make a motion, we take the insurance liability under advisement.
All right. Thank you, Bob.
Hey, what?
One second. Board appointments. Ellen? E911.
We had our meeting on January the 3rd, and we're having quarterly meetings like we did last year, and they're at 1 o'clock, and I'll give you this, and it shows there's April, July, and October. As of December 11th, we got the new CAD system up and running. They decided to do with the officers first, and which really makes sense. They're the ones that use it most often. They use it every day, 24 hours. And they're working with the officers to get all the votes worked out, and everything's going through okay, but it's a lot different. I haven't seen it myself, but it looks, have you seen it, the new CAD? It looks a lot different than Prime Star that we've used for years and years. But they say everything's going along fairly good. There's just a few little small things that they've got to work out. But he said once they get that done with the officers, then they're going to go ahead and then start with EMS and the fire departments. So he said maybe next month, maybe EMS, and the following month, depending on how EMS goes, maybe the next month the fire department, or might be soon for the fire departments.
Good.
One of the main things they did bring up is that make sure that right now, it's just the officers, obviously, but even though they can just go in and put themselves on calls in the system, but they still want them to go over the radio, just to make sure that everybody knows officer safety and make sure everybody knows what's going on. Staffing, they have 8 full-time, 6 part-time. They're working on getting additional training. They want a trainer, a certified trainer on each shift. And they've got 2 more positions and to get 2 more shifts to come in and get that accomplished, and the state is willing to pay for that, so we need tax to the county for that. And they're also working on setting up online training classes for all the dispatchers, and then the state 911 will cover the cost for those. One of the things that was brought up in the paper, and some of this stuff is way confusing, I'm not cutting on anybody, but ideally, we've never, from what I can remember, and I don't have to remember too, I don't think we've ever had a base station in dispatch. It's always been mobiles, like you put in a vehicle, like a fire truck, ambulance, or a cop car, or whatever. And we have, there's 2. One's a backup, and we keep both of them running and up to date and all that. But a base station lets you do more things, and it's it's got memory, and you can set up programs inside of it. It's a more, kind of like a mother computer, if you, very, very basic terminology. And one of the things that they brought up is those little red dots on the, their emergency button. And the officers, nobody's ever had it here in Carroll County that anybody can remember. And so, because we don't have a base station, those buttons don't work. And so ideally, another form of officer safety, all the better. So EMA director's gonna look into getting a base station to see about that. But they are expensive, so it's kind of a trade-off. But so nothing new, it just seemed pretty alarming in the paper. Just want to make sure. And some of that stuff's just confusing. There's all kinds of technology and what does what. It's hard to learn even if you've used it for 10 years.
Is our computer in the car compatible with the CAD system?
It's got Cylinder Mobile, it does not have the RMS, which basically,
With your inside texting back and forth, it's your own system, didn't it?
right, that you can dispatch
We talked to dispatch, talked to their officers.
and check case reports that they put in. That's an additional cost. Like Crime Star was, it's a different system than Crime Star. And I think it's, don't put that in the paper, but I think it's around $3,000. But you have to have, like use a hotspot or a different modem to run it.
Yeah, so there's more cost, there's the fee to have it, and then there's the fee to get it to work with the hotspots, or what do they use, the air cards, or whatever, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I have a hotspot on my personal phone, but you get to one area of town, that in, and you lose cell service, so it's gonna be hit and miss with the hotspot.
Is that what they had talked about a couple of years ago with upgrading to? Is that what we're talking about with that 2,000?
I believe so, with the new RMS system.
Yeah.
Okay, we did put that in this year's budget.
Yeah, because there's a lot of details with I don't know, and I don't understand all of this because I don't do that part, but I guess county gets some funds back from the county to pay for some of the county officer stuff and some of the towns, because there were some issues with fire departments too, some of the smaller fire departments, and so some of that was still up in the air, I think, as far as the details of who's gonna pay for what, or maybe
So you're
one
saying,
area might be able to help out a little bit, with some of the other towns.
so you're saying each emergency response, either town marshal or the fire department would be 3,000, approximately 3,000
It
for
could,
each
yes.
unit?
It could,
And
but
then
they
and
might
it'd be
try
also
to-
upgrading the internet to have a hotspot or something like that, so it
Right,
would work
like
properly.
type of modem that it would run off of instead of like,
Is it possible we could share one with the fire department or a motor, something,
I
maybe
would
on the
think
water
the modem
tower?
would have to be in the vehicle.
I think it has to be in the vehicle.
I think they're around $900 to $1,000, somewhere in that ballpark.
So each one of the fire trucks would have to have one, is what you're thinking too?
Because they're talking about doing,
So this
the
cost
2
is
engines in
substantial
there.
then.
first response vehicles.
Right.
Were you saying something about like the local units of government might be helping?
They're gonna see what they can do. I don't know any of those answers, but I knew that there was some talk as to maybe they might be able to help out a little bit, or
Yeah, I don't know
Try
the
and-
grants too.
the finance part of it, I don't quite understand, but they were trying to help out as much as they could with everybody.
Who's they?
The, either 911 or maybe county, I'm not for sure, I don't know, but I know that there was talk as to, so I know as far as some of the fire departments, our smaller fire departments, and they're, we just can't do that, you know, it's just not in our budget to do, and so they're gonna try, they were gonna look in, 911 was going to look into see if they can help in any way, and I don't know what those answers were, or I don't know if they have the answers
Okay,
yet.
because we had not been approached
Mhm.
about doing any kind of contributions.
Mhm.
So I just wanted to know if it was
I don't know if it
something
was-
we should know about.
I don't know if it was like the county trying to give maybe a little bit to everybody and try to help out, or I don't know how all that stuff works, or I don't, I'm not the person to ask, but I know that they were gonna try and help out everybody, especially some of the smaller things, and what I was hearing was fire departments, and so I'm sure that they were gonna help fire departments, they'd try and help everybody, I would imagine, I would assume, but I don't know any of those particulars at all. I think they're trying to be as nice as they can for all the money, is what it boiled down to, but I don't know any of the answers.
All right, is that all you had?
That's all I had.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that with us. Thank you.
Yeah.
Utility Superintendent, Mr. Sneaker.
I've got two things. I don't know how to approach the one as far as, but I'll start with the construction crew. They're doing a really good job. They probably be across the highway over here on 75 on gas sometime next week, the way it's looking. I don't know whether they'll meet the date that they've got, but I guess they do have approval the way I understand it now, as far as crossing 75 over here. They're right behind the doctor's office right now. That's all I have on the utilities, other than referring to streets. We need to sometime maybe look at an ordinance or something, or check with some other communities and see what they're doing as far as when you have other utilities come in, and like when they're cutting across the road, digging, directional boring, see what we want to do about like different ordinances, kind of control their cleanup, different things like that. Sometimes they're not the best at cleaning, not the people we have working for us, but I'm talking about like other utilities coming in. There's some that's not the best as far as cleaning up the street, backfilling the road like it should be, different situations like that. And I think we need to maybe look and see what all is available as far as to better protect our own roads, plus, you know, our utilities.
Is that something we could check with our peers and see what they're, got anything in place?
Because you know, you can kind of see it already.
Yeah.
Been seeing it quite a bit, but
No,
it
it's
seems like
good.
it gets worse,
You know,
you know.
Pat will look into it and see if there's any of our local peers or whatever. She got a full year.
That's about what, yeah, that's right.
The date on closing the highway is
Right now it's the 14th of April.
14, so
I haven't heard otherwise of you.
Yeah, see, and I don't know exactly what day it'll be.
is there signs up like in floor and everything? It's-
Not yet, I don't
They gotta
think.
put them up before.
They'll be the ones to put them up. We asked them today if they had to do that ahead of time, said not really. They don't really need to notify ahead too much. They talked to the state and said, no, that's
I
fine.
mean, I can just see
Notify
that
us and let
could
us know.
be pretty tough with a semi get up halfway up that hill and find out it's closed.
Yeah, well,
No,
they'll do it,
close it
they'll
all
do it
the
at
way.
floor or whatever. They'll put it at the different.
Yeah, but the thing of it is they just gotta mark the detour, or what might cause a problem if they come out of PDS and they turn and come this way, they ain't gonna get through or nothing like that, so.
All right, but they're gonna close it as of right now, 14.
That's
They
Monday.
didn't give any dates, but we have that Monday allowed.
Good.
That gives them Thursday and Friday
To
to
get to the
over
road.
to the road, so
Yeah.
they'll make that easy, won't they?
Well, I don't think there's a lot in their way now. They've
Yeah.
fought pretty much everything now. I think they'll move pretty good. Like, there's times they might get one piece of pipe in there.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's what they asked for.
Yeah, it's,
No.
it's good.
It's coming. Is that all you had?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Marshall's report.
Okay, 14 calls for service. There were 6 assisting other agencies, 1 vehicle impound, and then 7 traffic contacts.
Okay. We still need a bulletproof vest, is that right?
Yeah,
So what do you need a motion for that?
We actually, do we need one for Stephen also?
probably the way the IC code reads.
We'll be probably do one.
What did you say, what code?
Indiana
Just
code.
Of statute.
That we have to supply one, he can't wear his county one or whatever?
Ain't supposed to.
Probably.
Does,
Not sure, I mean, he has been, but.
Okay, we need 2 vests.
Mine's outdated by a year, but I'm still wearing it.
Officially, we need 2 vests.
We need to. And they're not really shareable,
Were
because
they-
they're kind of sized.
Right, they are sized.
And about 800 or so a piece, 1,000, what do you think?
I would have to look what the sheriff's department, they're getting ready to get new ones.
don't get a bamboo one, get a good one.
Delphi City just got new ones in a few months ago. So, I mean, some of them 600, you can go all the way up to 1,500 a month. Just depends on what threat level and what you get.
Yeah, it's Stephen's intent to stay on though, I take it from you.
As far as I know, yes.
Good. We put him on the spot the one time he was here, he had to read the report, so.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we also need an AED for the community building,
No,
Oh,
for the
for the
car.
car.
There's not one in the squad car.
So Pat will look into that too. Or do you research it?
I did a little bit of research today. I found them anywhere from $1,300 up to $3,000.
And you're both trained on them, or I know you would be.
Right, yeah. And a lot of the deputies carry them in their vehicles, their squad cars as well.
All right.
Are we okay budget-wise, using money around and stuff back and make it happen?
This early in the year, you
You're
can.
at $3,300, so
Yeah,
with 2 vests and an AED.
300.
no.
No, so we got 3,300.
Oh, 3,300.
She goes, she's got plenty of money right now.
Yeah. Jill, can we look into criminal institution, or criminal justice institute grant? Can we look at
For
that?
the
and see-
vest,
And even the.
I looked on
AED.
that today
Okay.
online.
Okay.
I've got a number to call. I think they said application review by May 29th of
Okay.
2019. So I don't know when that comes out. If it's,
Okay.
What did the prosecutor buy us?
What was that thing?
Radio.
Oh,
Wasn't
no,
it
no,
the-
the stun gun,
Yeah, it's
Taser.
that, yeah, taser, yeah.
yeah.
All right.
So would you be, if the grant application was due in May, would you be all right waiting that long?
I
Can
mean,
you get one, can we get one and then apply the grant tick, can you go that way?
Because you can't be reimbursed. no.
What are you talking about for the AED? Or-
Well, for the vest and the AED. We have, a few years, well, it's been a few, more than a few, we have gotten the Criminal Institute Justice grants before. And they've been nice little grants, but I don't know whether this is something that would be eligible for.
right, I would have to, I printed off the paperwork, I just have to call a number and try to get an application to see what it takes to get the bulletproof vest grant. And I can look into that.
Would you mind doing that?
No, I don't know. I can do that.
Thank you.
But I'm not real comfortable, you know, if we apply in May and they don't give it to you in October, I don't want her to go that long
Yeah.
without a vest.
I mean, I am wearing one that's just beyond 5 years.
But then again, if you get shot and I'm sitting up here, well, she's got a vest on that's 5 years old. She might as well have had a bamboo one on, so. That wouldn't be good.
No.
Especially after Mr. Liability sat back here and throw numbers at me. Joke of deal. Gonna have liability for the parade, jeez. On some World Cup. Yeah, we're on the street.
All right, thank you, Jill. Clerk treasurer.
Okay. We talked last fall about setting up a date to meet with the trustee on the fire contract.
Mhm.
What are your thoughts?
Have you heard any communication with them at all? Or, well, I need to do it sooner than later because I'm gonna get busy with softball.
Okay. I'll call Deb tomorrow.
Just see what dates are available and we'll try to coordinate through email or whatever.
Okay. Okay, next thing, any check that's 2 years old is written off of our books, and the money that had been allocated for that check is received back into the account from which it came. As part of the year-end process, I have to report those to you. We have one in water for $18, one in sewer for 12 cents. Those will be reported back into the fund, and that is your copy. Yeah,
You're the
I know.
12-cent check.
I know. Customer refund.
They didn't catch it.
Imagine.
I'm good, I think that's.
Yeah. That was back, what was it, 17 or something?
15 on
15.
15 on Twin Rivers, around 17 on the 12 cent.
Yeah. So we've got to just receive it back in. Okay, just as a comment, the paper had about the May primary filings have opened. I think it opened as of today. If anyone is interested in running for a town position or a city position, they need to see the clerk's office down at the courthouse in Delphi.
And I think the town our size has till August, I believe, isn't it?
I think it is,
The larger towns are,
unless we have a convention.
yeah. The way I read it was, it's
Yeah,
August.
kind of confusing, so that's why I just put in there, they need to talk to the clerk and get things straight. Okay, board appointments. You all have your list. Bill Dittman has evidently resigned from EDC, so we do need to make that appointment. And that term would expire at 12/31 of 21. Have you had a chance to talk to anybody about who might like to be on EDC?
No.
I wasn't even aware until you sent that email about Bill.
I wasn't aware of it either. Yeah,
Has he confirmed that, or
I have not talked to him.
that it came from EDC, or?
This
Okay.
came from our rep, one of our reps at EDC.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen him or talked to him, so.
Then we have two that Brent is on. One is the Emergency Management Committee and the other is CURPSI. Brent is willing to serve on both. And if I just need your signature on here, appointing him to Emergency Management. And then on CURPSI, I need a motion and a second on that one because of the way they do things.
I'll make a motion that we put Brent Deal on the courtesy.
Second.
And I need signatures on that one. And all of the other appointments, if I'm looking at it correctly, it looks like they carry on for a little bit longer. And Ellen is willing to continue on. I talked to her earlier today, so she is willing for the email agenda.
Thank you. Okay, is that it? Some old business, we're going to meet tomorrow evening to set goals for 2019 at 6 o'clock, correct? Do we have any utility adjustment requests? No disputed ordinances? Good thing, we don't have any insurance for that. Public comments. comments?
Did you find out anything about the camera?
Me?
No.
Oh.
Oh, that's Brandon.
I know he talked to somebody was in the office, but I don't know. what
That
the
Chris
conversation
Clark,
was.
that day I called him when we had our year-end meeting. And
Yeah.
he was supposed to get back with Brent, and I haven't heard anything from Brent or.
I think he showed up, didn't
He was over there, but I don't know what the conversation was.
Chris did show up with Brent.
There were two guys over there. I don't know their
Okay,
names.
I am not aware of it. I didn't even know they showed up, so.
I don't know.
The office will be closed on January 21st for Martin Luther King Day. And did you have any other comments, Andy, or?
Nope.
Okay,
Good.
that's all I have, so entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to we adjourn.
Second. Is that quick enough, Jerry?
he? Huh?
Was that quick enough?
Yeah. Great. Finally got nothing going on.
Purdue lost last night, so
I gotta go pick her up about 10 o'clock, and that's about it.
who, Camden?